Going live now. We are live.
Good morning, family. Translators, can I get a green signal from you all that I'm audible and clear? Perfect, perfect. Thank you so much. So I hope everyone is doing great. It's very different to, speak to so many people on a Zoom call, almost 10,000 people, but I can only see the panelists over here. So first of all, guys, welcome to another module of Grooming School. And yes, before we start, I would like to thank none other than our own Kavita Ma for organizing this grooming school for us. It's been 5 to 6 weeks, and we have been getting abundance knowledge from so many speakers, and who have been in the business for 5 years, 6 years, 7 years, 8 years, 10 years. And trust me, guys, we all are so blessed, to get this during this COVID times or pandemic times. So I would want once again all of you to be empty cup and learn the maximum in every grooming school that you're getting today. Okay, guys. So before we start, and before I introduce you the speaker for today, let us set the ground rules. I know you all have attended so many grooming school modules from last couple of weeks, but I would love to repeat again. I hope everybody, if you have a laptop, you're connected to a laptop. I would request you to avoid connected to a mobile phone as long as you have an option. Okay. If you don't have, I would request you to connect your mobile phone to a Wi-Fi network. Okay. And go on a DND mode so that you don't get calls in between, messages in between, and you don't get distracted for next 1.5 hours. Because trust me, guys, at times, this is my personal experience. Something that is very important for us, it can be that 1 minute learning, and we usually miss out on that learning only, when the speaker is, gonna address it for next 1 to 1.5 hours. So I would request you all to be 100% attentive. Do not get distracted. Okay. Now, few of you sitting in your homes, I hope you're not in a relaxed zone, sitting on a sofa or something like that. Let's sit in a proper training mode, completely secluded, not with your family. Okay. And completely focused on today's grooming school. Okay. Now, I cannot get a thumbs up from you guys, but I hope you all are, doing what I'm requesting you all. I hope you all have water with you, a book and a pen ready with you, because trust me, guys, today's topic is very important. Okay. And if you guys can understand this topic and implement this topic, as speaker is going to discuss so many things with us, trust me, your business will go skyrocket. Okay. So perfect. Now, let me introduce you to the speaker. Now, I'm so happy, so excited, so blessed, and I always wanted, a chance to, bring this person in front of, more than 10, 15,000 people. I don't know where to start from, but yeah, let me just quickly give you a background, where he come from. So as per his profession and degree, he's also an engineer, okay, graduated long back. And he did job for some time, but very less time, because he was very clear that he don't want to be in the jobby world for long. And he entered the field of entrepreneurship before this business only. Okay. So he was a co-founder of a startup, by Sahaj Consulting, and he was doing exceptionally well. Trust me, guys, he's a person like that from the beginning, not coming after coming into the business. His work ethics are, unbelievable. You guys have no idea. When you work on ground with him, at times looking at his schedule, you get irritated that how can somebody work like him? At times he's a machine, he's a robot, he's not a human being. Okay. Now, if I want to tell you few of his achievements, his big accolades in his past, I hope majority of you have heard about Toastmasters. I know a lot of you these days, you start attending Toastmasters, to get, hands-on, and expose yourself. But this person has done something else in Toastmasters. Okay. If you know the highest leadership level, like in our business, we have leadership levels. There's something called as Distinguished Toastmaster Accolade, which is in Toastmasters. And so far, from 1927 till date, only 600 people have made it to the top. And the speaker today is one of them, right? Next, when I came to know about this accolade for the first time, I was like, wow, he's a Limca Book of Records holder for impromptu speaking. You get my point? So Toastmaster, Limca Book of Record. And after all this, he came into business, in 2015. It's been close to 5 years for him. But in this 5 years, he has done, so many things. He has achieved so many things. We all know about Elite Club. He has been qualified for Elite Club. We all know about Club Velocity multiple times, not one time. He has maxed out already in less than 3 years in this business and multiple times. Okay. Now, let me tell you a little bit something personal, with respect to me about this person. Now, when I started, I would say I am in the business because of him. He was the person who took my plan. He was the person who took my financials, my switch on, my trainings, everything. Okay. Now, he was that working upline for me. He was that coach for me, who made me whatever I am today. Now, few things, which he does in a very different way. Guys, he is a bookworm. The number of books that he reads, at times, we are like, how can you read so much? The knowledge that he has, we call him walking Wikipedia. You get my point? You talk about anything, he knows, numbers, statistics about the world, information, so many things. And that is what used to inspire me, in my first 1 year, that how can this person know so much? And that used to make us feel that we don't know anything. You get my point? And that used to always push us to keep working hard. That kind of a person is. And one more characteristic about this person, is a very stubborn guy in a good way. Why? Because once he decides, he never back down. So he's that person, if he has decided to achieve it, he makes it happen. I remember first time when he decided to make it for Elite Club, he was like, jana hi hai. Club Velocity, jana hi hai. 20 DRs, karna hi hai. So I don't know any time in my last 4 years, whenever, he told that he's going to achieve it, and end of the day, he did not make it. No matter what happens, he'll always make it. Trust me, guys, he's that kind of a person. And trust me, that attitude is taking you to places today. Today he has built markets everywhere. I think today only he opened another market. These days, he sends messages from Australia, South Africa, Germany, Canada, USA. I think Zoom has given him a chance, to build markets everywhere. Today, I think across India, he has markets in, I think, almost all the states. I would say at least 20 states, and countries, 7-8 countries for sure. So he's building business globally, guys. And now the topic for today, correct, I think is very appropriate for him. Got my point? Because he has done it. He has built organization. He has built verticals. And for doing that and for doing his VRs, this is what the topic is required. You all have attended, this topic in the past, but every speaker has something different to deliver. Okay. And I would request you all, okay, to listen to him, because he's going to share his experience, guys, what he did in his last 4 or 5 years, which, got him all the way here. Okay. So I hope all of you are ready. All of you are excited. All of you are all set for next 1.5 hours, glued to your screen to listen to my upline, my coach, my friend, my brother. Okay. And guys, okay, next 1.5 hours, please be 100% focused. So with a lot of excitement, I want all of you to give a huge round of applause for my working upline, Mr. Dixit PNT. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mulani. Good morning, brothers and sisters. I'm sure all of you guys are rocking and rolling as always. And I take this opportunity to especially thank my referrer, my upline, Raghu Maurya. And I would like to especially thank Rahul Bhai, especially thank AVP Diggy Bhai, especially thank V partner Kavita Di, and especially thank V partner Sachin Bhai. It was only because of them, only because of their vision, we all are existing. And whatever life I'm living, whatever life my team members are living, whatever growth that we are seeing, it is only and only because of our uplines. Thank you, thank you, thank you to all the uplines from the bottom of my heart. And yes, thank you, Mulani, for such an introduction. But I believe I'm just a speck of dust in the entire organization. I have bigger goals to achieve. I have bigger things to achieve. There's so many things right up there. And today's topic, which was given to me, is prospecting. Right? And I'm pretty sure that most of you guys have already listened to great leaders who have come down and who have spoken about prospecting. And I'm sure they have given you a better perspective about prospecting, the importance of prospecting. And whatever I'm going to add is in addition to whatever they have said. I'm just going to add a little to what they have done. I have learned a lot from them. Yes. So let's get into the game directly. So what is prospecting? Yes, I would like to share my journey, but I'll do that in the process. But let me get to the point straight. The agenda of today's meeting is to know about prospecting. What is prospecting? Why is it important to do prospecting? Thirdly, what is the agenda of prospecting? Fourthly, what is the result that you're looking at after prospecting? And last, how are we going to do the prospecting? And let me tell you, in this entire world, the number one high income skill as per the greatest entrepreneurs around the world, starting from Tony Robbins to Robert Kiyosaki, the legends in the respective field, they all say the number one skill a person has to learn to become very successful in business, it is prospecting. Prospecting is an irreplaceable skill. In whichever industry you are, there is always a demand for people who can create prospects, who can prospect, and who can get the business. Because for any technical industry, any non-technical industry, any FMCG company, any industry for that matter, the business runs only and only when people who go out and get business for them are successful in doing that. And they are the people who are the prospecting team. And in our business as well, we are not taught all the skills that don't help us. We are taught some of the most important skills, which are irreplaceable, even if artificial intelligence comes up, even if automation happens, even if the population grows, even if there is competition out there. Prospecting is always the number one skill which can give money for us and which can generate business all over the world. The people who prospect well are irreplaceable, and their value in the marketplace will always shoot up. It will always touch the zenith, right? And let me define what is prospecting. Prospecting is a methodology which is very beautiful, which is very interesting, which is actually very fun. And it is a methodology of sorting people and also shifting their mindset on the importance of doing something else apart from what they are doing. And also to help them understand, help them shift their mindset to do something really good in the long run, which is very, very useful. So the bottom line, what is prospecting? Prospecting is a beautiful methodology of sorting people and shifting their mindset so that they can take action to inspire them, to educate them, to better themselves. That's prospecting for you. And next important question, why is prospecting important? Now, prospecting is very important because that is how business happens. And let me also tell you that prospecting is never direct, not just in our business, but in any business on this planet. Prospecting is always indirect because there is a very important science behind it. Because a human mind wants things straight. I repeat, our human minds and our words want things straight. People say, I want it straightforward. I want it straightforward. But never did I see someone taking a decision on things that are given to them straightforward, including feedback. And that's why they have constructive feedback, constructive criticism, indirect methodologies of influencing people. The human brain doesn't work when something is given straight to it. A human brain opens up only when something is given indirectly to it. This is a lock. In order to open it, prospecting is a primary key. And throughout our entire life, we have been prospected and we have been prospecting others. For example, when we were children, right, we never used greeny vegetables. We never used to drink milk, which is good for our body. When we were kids, we never did anything that was useful for our body. So our parents, did they tell you the importance of milk? Did they tell you the importance of broccoli? Did they tell you the importance of kale? Did they tell you the importance of everything? No. When they told the importance, did we have it? No. So what did they do? They opened up the lock here by telling a story of, look at the moon, look at the stars, look at that uncle, look at the dog. And they unlocked and they made sure that the food was given. And that's why we are on nutrition. A human brain works in 4 quadrants. You can imagine, not ESBI though. This is a 4 quadrant, which is called as a Johari's window. I repeat, this quadrant is called as Johari's window. And Johari's window has 4 quadrants, which is about our own awareness. The first quadrant says, I know what I know. The second quadrant says, I know what I don't know. Third quadrant says, I don't know what I know. And fourth quadrant says, I don't know what I don't know. I repeat, the first quadrant is, I know what I know. Second quadrant, I know what I don't know. Third quadrant, I don't know what I know. Fourth quadrant, I don't know what I don't know. Right? Ironically, majority of our human growth lies in I don't know what I don't know quadrant. But majority of them take decisions based on what they know, what they don't know, what they don't know that they know. So as long as we operate from this segment, our growth will always be limited. And as Swami Vivekananda always says, walk into the unknown, right? Walk into the unknown. And that is what prospecting does. It breaks the guard and it helps people understand the reality. And that is why prospecting is important. And for that matter, even if you go and propose a girl of if you have any time fallen in love, you liked her, did you go and propose her on day one? What would happen if you go and propose her on day one? A lot of women say, if you like me, you got to tell me straight. And there are so many of my friends who tried, but they failed. Right? Of course, they will say, it's not that I'm trying to be chauvinistic about women, but I'm just giving an example. Please don't take me wrong. So when women said that, you have to be straight, if a man goes and approaches us that, I love you, most of the cases they may not agree. They say that it has to be straight, but subconsciously, they're not there. Right? That's the reason people first become friends, men become friends, and then they slip into good friends, and then they get into best friends, and then they become close friends. And finally, they'll say, I love you, and they accept it. Prospecting different steps, right? So that is how it happens. Right? If a guy says, I love you in Deva, it takes 2-3 years for her to accept him because the moment he appears, doors up. All right. So prospecting is a beautiful way of beating the subconscious mind, opening guard, and reaching the point where it is needed to reach. And similarly for men, if a woman comes and says, I love you, most of the men accept it. But if a woman comes and asks, will you marry me? I doubt. I seriously doubt. Because even they also have to prospect. Yes. So we have been prospecting from our childhood unconsciously. Right? So we have been prospecting our friends to go for a movie. We prospected our friends to play a video game. We prospected our friends to go out, and for people who are smokers, to smoke, for people who are alcoholics, not alcoholics, but who consume alcohol. We have been prospecting throughout our life without even we knowing it. But when you are doing that prospecting, you made others rich. But here, what we are saying is consciously prospect for their benefit and for the benefit of the world. It is very, very important that we understand that aspect. We are prospecting because we have to change the world. All right. So I'd like to tell only one thing. That's the reason prospecting is very, very important. All these years, we have been prospecting unconsciously. Now it's time to prospect it consciously for a good reason, for the welfare of this planet. Yeah. So many people may ask this question, that why is it that we don't go direct? Why don't we ask people about business directly? Why don't we reach out to them directly? Yes, we are warriors, we are this, we are that. Why don't we reach people directly? Why don't we tell people who we are in the first meeting? Let me tell you something. We are talking to a crowd. As Robert Kiyosaki in the book, The Business School, clearly mentions, do not pitch the business directly. Do not pitch the business directly because you'll end up failing. Why? Because our human mind is not something that it is natural. It has been patterned. From childhood, it's been patterned in multiple ways. There are so many reservations, so many restrictions, so many cultural aspects associated with it. You're not dealing with a straight human mind. You're dealing with a mind that is programmed in multiple ways based on the experiences that they had, based on the bad experiences that they had. They have so many perceptions. There's media, there is their family, there is their own experiences, their own attitudes. So it's a very complicated thing. It's a very complicated thing. And majority of the population on this planet never did business. They never did business. Even if they did business, it was a small business. Even if they did a small business, they didn't survive for 5 years. And even if they survived, how many of them made $1 million? It's a question that we have to ask ourselves. So pitching a business directly to a prospect who has never done business is like pitching integration and differentiation for a person who is first class. Do you think he'll be able to understand it? High possibility not. Right? So a lot of people say, why don't we discuss business at the first level and clear off the things? Right? It's up to them. Let me tell you, if we have to pitch our business completely from end to end, it's a 22 hours program. The pitch has to happen for 22 hours. I did a calculation, right? If you want to completely justify your business 100% to a prospect, you have to speak end to end of it, which is going to take 22 freaking hours. Now, let me ask you a question. How many prospects who say, I want direct, are so open enough to sit down for 22 hours and know everything about the business? Right? If they want to know everything about the business, they should know about the company first. They should know about each and every product, each and every certification that is associated with it. They have to know about every freaking thing. And more importantly, I should dump the KPMG and FICCI report in front of them, which is hundreds of pages to read for them to understand the business. And they have to go through all the books. They have to go through all the videos. And they have to go through switch on. They have to go through objection handling. They have to understand RSP. They have to understand the different ranks that are associated with it. They have to understand. They have to understand how to do zigzag and max out. They have to understand the leadership level. They have to understand the education. My dear friends, honestly speaking, do you think a 2-hour or 3-hour or a 4-hour discussion with a prospect can do justice to our business? Honestly, I don't think so. If I miss even one point, even if I miss to speak about RSP, which means I'm doing injustice to my business. And we don't have so much time to sit with everyone and explain them for 22 hours. That guy will faint. You'll also faint. Right? That is the reason we have to use a methodology called as prospecting. It is a strategy. A lot of people say, why to apply strategy? Because everything works on strategy on this planet. Everything is a strategy. Everything. There's nothing direct. If you take a look at McDonald's guy, right? His strategy is to attract kids, because when they attract kids, parents will automatically come. A kid will never come alone. He gets parents along, which means parents also have 1 + 2 1 offer. If not 1 + 2, 4 + 5 offer. We don't know. And why is it that there's a clown sitting in front of the McDonald's, and whenever you open the McDonald's store, why is it that you get the French fry smell? The same goes with Subway. Why is it that it is decorated so beautifully? Strategy. Why is it that movie theaters are on top of a mall? Why not at the bottom? Strategy. Because every weekend people need a reason to go there and check out the mall. Strategy. Right? This world, I believe, as my clients always say, is not about knowledge. It is about implementation of a knowledge. I'll give an example. Why do we follow this process? Right? We follow info, then we have invitation, and then we have qualifier, and then we have the final business presentation. Why do we follow this process? Because it's a strategy. Because I don't have all the time on the planet to sit with everyone and explain a lot of our business for people who are not even qualified. Now, let me ask you a question. I'm sure most of you guys have written competitive exams. Yes. What is the intent of competitive exams? Right? In a limited period of time, how much can you score? Right? Do the competitive exams test your knowledge alone? Or do they test your knowledge along with implementation at a given point in time? True or not? So we all know that it is not a knowledge-based exam. It's a strategy-based exam. It's an implementation-based exam. For example, if you take a look at my entrance exam when I wrote, let it be AIIMS or IIT or even EAMCET, what are your local tests for that matter? First, what is our agenda? Let's say, for example, there are 160 questions, 80 from math, 40 from physics, 40 from chemistry. For people who don't understand the jargon, that's fine. It's okay. Understand that you have to get maximum marks, right? So what we usually do, we apply a strategy. First, we go to chemistry, finish off all the easy and tough questions because it's easy. And then you come to mathematics, finish off all the easy questions. And then you go to chemistry, finish off all the tough questions so that you can score more. And then you come out to maths and complete all the medium questions, and then go to physics easy questions, and then come back to math tough questions, and then go to physics medium easy questions. Why we follow this process? So that we can get maximum marks in a given period of time. That's what defines you, right? A lot of people who didn't pass IIT fail in other processes because it's not about knowledge. It's about implementation and what results can you produce in a stipulated period of time. Yes? All right. So only then you can make it, right? Now, if you don't follow the process and you say, after I solve the first question only, I'll go to the second question. Only after I solve the second question, I'll go to the third question. You're stuck in second question for the entire 3 hours. Do you think you'll be successful? Do you think the people will come down and ask you, how many did you complete? No, we don't. They only check how much did you score. Similar to that competitive exam. If you're so cautious about competitive exam, which is for 3 hours, we have a life, which is also limited. We have limited time in our life. Now, in that limited period of time, how effectively can you get more signups? How effectively can you get more signups will define how smart we are. let me tell you, it's not just a test of knowledge, it's a test of knowledge and strategy. We have to follow it 100%. And that's why we have laid out this process called as prospecting, right? The reason why we first give info call is to understand, is there anyone excited? Easy questions. Who asks you, hey, do you have anything? And then we have invitation, because we have to make them serious. We don't want people to come down for fun, right? Yeah. And then we have a qualifier. Why? I'm just reiterating, all of you guys know, it's just for understanding, to bring everyone to the same plane. We have a qualifier. We tell them the requirements that are necessary: time, funds, coachability, and industry constraints. We ask them all this. And only if they're ready, then we'll go ahead and discuss the entire business idea. Why do I do that? Because I can't sit with anyone and everyone and discuss business for 3-4 hours and then give him his time of his life to get it done. It doesn't work that way. It doesn't work that way. If I discuss 4 hours of business with every prospect, how much time will I end up spending every day? In a day, I'll be able to touch 4 people. If I work for 16 hours approximately, 4 people. In a month, how many can I touch? Around 120 people. I can touch 120 people in a month. But if I don't do that, and if I use a very smart technique which I apply and implement it, that is called as a qualifier. And a qualifier, in 16 hours, how many people can I reach out? In 16 hours, instead of reaching to 4 people, I reach 16 people. Right? In a month, how many do I reach out? 480 people. Right? As they say in the book, questions are the answers. This is a numbers game. The more numbers that you touch, the more successful you'll become. And this is a smart strategy. Why would I spend my time of 4 hours with a person who's not even qualified? It doesn't make any business sense. Do you think Shah Rukh Khan will sit with a producer who does not have money? Impossible. We have to respect our time. In those 4 hours, I can take a training. I can be with my family, because we do not know when we will die. We all are just 2 minutes away from abyss. 2 minutes away from abyss. We don't know. There's a lot of effort we are putting in effort. We got to run faster than ever. We don't know what will happen. Why should I spend my 4 hours with a person who's not even interested, is not even qualified? That is disrespect to myself and my appliance time and my teammates' time. The funda of business is, you had to select people who are qualified. You had to discuss business ideas with people who are qualified. Now, even if you take your college, do you think they'll allow everyone and anyone to sit in the placements? No. They have a qualification, 70% cut off. No one can come beyond this. No one is willing to waste time. All right, some people will say, I take a loan and come, and if I don't like the idea and I have to go back, I have to pay interest. My dear friend, for you it is some thousands. For me, it is lakhs of rupees. 4 hours I can sit with someone. I can do my own prospecting. I can find a rock star who can create a business for me, which is millions of dollars, or I can be that. I can go and do more prospecting. Why should I waste my time with you? Right? I'm not obliged to share my business opportunity to anyone and everyone. I should like his attitude. I should like his thing. I should like his hard work. I should understand him. I should find the vibe, and he should be ready with the requirements. Or else I do not want to disrespect my time by spending time with someone. As they say, time is money. All right? That's why we follow this process, because if you calculate the turnover that is happening in my organization, every hour I'm generating few lakhs and spending 4 hours and I'm with someone who's not even ready. I'm wasting that time. There is so much of need in my team. They need my time. I can give them. They can create more business. Right? So there is nothing wrong in not discussing everything with a prospect. Right? So that's why prospecting is very important. Prospecting is an efficient way to save our time. Our plans have created that process to save our time. So please understand that. We do not want to hide anything. We don't want to do anything. We don't want to discuss anything, because, the thing, as Robert Kiyosaki says in the book Business School, people are not open-minded. They have that thing called as inertia. They cannot adjust to new things very fast. And they cannot adjust the new things very fast. And when they can't adjust the new things very fast, obviously they'll reject it. For example, have you ever listened to A.R. Rahman songs? When you hear it for the first time, you feel weird. What is this? Right? But over a period of time, you start liking it. But unfortunately, A.R. Rahman and his music CDs have time, but we don't have time. And I'll share a small story which I read from the book, The Law of Success. Okay. If you discuss everything openly, what will happen? Right? Law of Success, written by Napoleon Hill. He says that one time ago, in 1980s, they were Eskimos in Antarctica. So there was a science expedition from the US who went to the expedition. And there was one guy who was an Eskimo. There was a village and he was staying there. And he was their guide. So he helped them explore Antarctica to the core. They gelled very well. There was a relationship that got established. And then they had to go back. So they went back. And after going back, they wrote a letter to him saying that we were very pleased with your service. We would want you to come down to New York and spend time with us and see around and be our guest. And this guy becomes extremely elated and he goes to New York. The moment he steps into New York in the 1980s, for the first time, he sees railroads. Excuse me. Just a second. So he comes to New York, he sees that there are aeroplanes, there's skyscrapers, there's everything, and he gets excited. He goes back to the village, and every villager who are excused will ask, what happened, what happened, what happened, what did you see? He says he saw skyscrapers, he saw aeroplanes, he saw railroads, he saw trams, he saw everything. Everyone was shocked. They think, oh my God, he's not a normal being, he's a devil. Let's move away. He's speaking something. Excuse me for a second. Yeah, so message from the translators. Thank you so much. I'll go slowly. All right. Yeah, so all the Eskimos will be shocked. What is this guy saying? What happened to him? Did some evil spirit get into him? They were afraid because it was something new which they never heard about. And when they heard something new, they all isolated him. They all did not give him food. They did not give him shelter. They asked him to abscond. I mean, they boycotted everything about him. And they made sure that he's kicked out of the town. And he died hungry. Right? They all thought that, oh my God, this is a different beast. And then again, after a few years, the same team comes back for another expedition. And there'll be another guy whom they will hire to take around. So they will be completely pleased with his service. And then they go back. And they gave him the invitation. And once they gave him the invitation, this guy also goes there and he says the same thing which the previous guy told. And this guy thinks when he goes back, all the villagers will ask me. If I tell them the same thing, they will also isolate me and I'll also die out of hunger. So I will tell is exactly Eskimo land there. And he decides that. And when he goes and tells the same thing, then everyone will be satisfied. Now he's a good spirit and they allow him inside. So the moral of the story is we human beings are not open. As per the book, Napoleon Hill says, he says, if there is one thing that we have to pray to God, that thing is to have an open mind. I repeat, if there's one thing that we have to pray to God, that is to have an open mind, right? So let me tell you, we are dealing with people who are not open-minded people. They say they're open-minded, but they're not. If they were open-minded, they would have been as big as Bill Gates, they would have been as big as Jeff Bezos because they are open-minded to look at more opportunities and grow on them, right? If anyone says my prospect is open-minded, I usually do not believe it. Because if he has open-minded, I've been somewhere else in life. So we all are not open-minded. We're growing, we're moving. And prospecting is such a beautiful phenomenon that it opens up our possibilities. It opens up. And why is there a sense of urgency? It is very important that we have a sense of urgency because as Dato Sri, legend in his way, he says in the book, 2 Minutes from the Abyss, he says the only difference between the top 1% on this planet and the remaining 99% is sense of urgency. Sense of urgency. As businessmen, there is no tomorrow for us, there is only now. We have to sign up now. Only then we'll be a very good businessman who is valuable in terms of business. All right. So please follow the process. If you follow the strategy, you'll attain success faster. If you don't follow the strategy, you delay your success. Right. I hope I have given you an insight about why do we prospect like this? Why is it indirect? Because human beings are indirect. They say they are direct, but we all are hypocrites. We have to agree with it. All right. So that is something that we have to come into consensus with. Now let's talk about another important thing. What is the agenda of prospecting is basically shift his mind to make him more open about the opportunities available because we know what's happening in the world. I'll come to that point later. And it becomes a responsibility to share a great opportunity with each and every one of them. And now, what is the net result that we have to look out of prospecting? The purpose of prospecting, the net result that we're looking at is a person coming with a curious and an open mind to seek something. I'll repeat, the net result that we are looking at after prospecting is person coming onto the table to listen to the idea with curiosity, with an open-minded attitude. That is the agenda of prospecting. Only if we are able to do that, we will succeed. Yes, I hope I have cleared why prospecting is important, and I have made you understand what is prospecting. Now, let's get into another important aspect about why should we prospect people with so much intensity, in the sense fast, and why should we even share a business opportunity? So can I speak a little? Can I speak some facts and figures of this world today? Right. Today, the world is in a freaking crisis. Freaking crisis. We cannot even understand what's happening. Rahul Bhai always shares those links. When I look at them, shivers run through my spine about what's happening in the world. But we are so thankful to QNet that we are still growing. We're still growing. Now, let me tell you what's happening in the world around. All right. So I'm sure you know who is controlling the world. The banks are controlling the world. The Federal Bank is controlling the entire world. And they are the reason for recessions. They are the reason for depressions to be so long. And this entire freaking system of this world is created in a way where only the top 3%ers will benefit. That's the reality of life. That's how the world is today. And let me tell you, every 8 to 10 years, there will be a recession. Every 80 to 90 years, there will be a depression, because that is how the model works. And we are more or less in that state. If not now, 10 years down the line, we have to. US is in a debt of $27 freaking trillion. The GDP of US is $21 trillion. GDP is nothing but income of their country. When the debt is more than income, what will happen? Collapse will happen. It's about to happen, right? And most of the people who are in their 45s and 50s today, they're literally scared. They're literally scared to the nth level. You know why? They either have diabetics, they either have BP, they either have issues, they either have problems with the body, right? Their immune system is down, the lung system is down, and one coronavirus has been a nightmare for all of them. One freaking coronavirus is a nightmare for all of them. Can you believe it? I heard a news from one of our team members that their cousin auntie got corona. She was 62 years old. Corona attacked her. She's no more. In 2 days, she's no more. She's no more. Right? As it is said in the book Parable of Pipeline, right? Always diversify. Always create multiple streams of income. Do not take life for granted. Do not take anything for granted. To take anything for granted in the Parable of the Pipeline, the way his father lost his business to a politician in that country. A lot of people have lost business because of coronavirus. It can be a politician, it can be coronavirus, it can be war, it can be anything. It can be anything. And it becomes a responsibility to save as many people as possible with this business. That is why it's important to prospect. That is why it is important to prospect. We want to save people. How many of you know that in India, every month, close to 10 lakh youngsters enter the market space for work? Every month, 10 lakh youngsters into the market space for work. Are 10 lakh jobs being created? Please tell me. Are 10 lakhs jobs being created every month? A question to ask ourselves. No, they're not. Then where will all these people go? God knows. Right? And because of this overpopulation and high rise of inflation, we are paying the price. You know why? 10 years ago, the cost of 1 liter of milk was 14 rupees. Today, it is 50 rupees. 10 years ago, the cost of education for a child in a decent school was 50,000. The same school charges more than 2 lakhs today. 10 years ago, a decent flat in a decent locality, which is a 2-bedroom flat, was available to the consumers at around 50 lakhs. Today, the same flat costs 1.3 CR. But unfortunately, 10 years ago, the salary that most of you guys are making today is the same as a person who was earning 10 years ago at your level. Maybe a few lakhs here and there. Why is this happening? When everything in life, the price of everything is quadrupling, why is it that our salaries are not quadrupling? Because population, you can be easily replaced, whatever job you may be. And a lot of people say, I want to become a CEO of a company. You know, as for Robert Kiyosaki, he says one thing very clearly. To become a CEO of a company, a probability of a person is hardly 0.02%. The probability of a person is 0.02%. And may I know what's your probability? Is what I ask myself. I have no right to ask. I don't even know whether I'm eligible to ask these questions, but these are the questions that I ask myself. It's healthy possibility of not happening, right? And even if you become a CEO of a company, our shelf life is hardly for 8 to 10 years in the best case. And after 8 to 10 years, does our lifestyle go up or does our lifestyle dwindle? Comes down, right? As they say in Parable of Pipeline, employment will never take us there. We do not know what's up in store for us. We don't know what's up in store for us, right? Salaries are not growing. Population is growing. As Dato Shri says in Recon, in the next 8 years, 750 million people will enter the workforce worldwide. 750 million people will enter the workforce. What does that mean? That means that even if the entire world keeps their differences aside, join hands together to employ so many people, even then that is not possible. Even then that is not possible. That's a reality of life. As per the World Economic Forum, in the next 8 years, 20 crore Indians will be losing their jobs. Unexpectedly, 14 crore already lost in the unorganized sector of India. And in the next 8 years, automation and artificial intelligence will take up over the entire production unit. Where are we heading to then? What's the option? Right? How can so many people be absorbed into any industry? As Amitabh Kant, the CEO of Niti Aayog, Niti Aayog, for your understanding, is a government organization, which is like an organization of India, and the CEO of Niti Aayog is the CEO of India. To draw a parallel, he says there are only two ways that people can create employment or livelihood for people. One is to push manufacturing, which highly likely is not going to happen. Second is to push direct selling, because direct selling is the only business on this planet as of today which can absorb over 1 billion freaking people. 1 billion people. That is what we're a part of. We are the part of the future. Automation, artificial intelligences, they will drag away jobs in production, in coding, in everything. A lot of people say, I'll be the person, forget about it. I'm very talented. I'll be the person who will code. I'll be the person who will be doing that. Agreed. You may be a king to it. That's what I say myself. You may be a king to it. But how long can I remain a king in that field? 10 years, I may be at the top, but 11th year, there's a youngster who's working his heart out to be on the top. And that girl replaced you. What about them? What's about it? Right? This is the thing. That's the reason we have to always create something in addition to what we already have. All the people who are 45, 50 here who are literally having nightmares today, they're having them because of only one reason. When they had time, they did not stretch themselves. They're focusing on, work-life balance. They're focusing on, family time. They're focusing on, we have to enjoy. We have to do vacations. Right? All this is a prehistoric mindset, because when people were doing this, who were successful, they were the baby boomers. When baby boomers were there, right, our grandfathers and our fathers' early time, the population was only less. In India, population was hardly 50 to 70 crore. At that point in time, when they had time for family, when they had time for this, when they had time for that, it didn't impact their life. But today, what's the population that we're dealing with? The population that we're dealing with is over 135 crores. 135 crores. When there's so much population, can we afford to take a break? We cannot. Can you afford to think about family life balance? We cannot. The market will eat us away. That's happening today. When they had time, they're spending time, they're watching TV, they're doing this, they're doing that. They have taken life for granted. When there was time, they did not stretch themselves. And when others were trying to stretch, they made fun out of me. Oh, here comes this guy, here comes that guy. Now today, who's laughing? All the people are grinding for the past 20 years, 30 years. And they had traded alternatives of income. They are becoming richer now, faster now. Right? As Dato Shri always says, do things when you don't need them, so that when you need them, you have them. I repeat, do things when you don't need them, because when you need them, you already have them. That's the magic. That's why our upliners always keep pushing us, move forward, move forward. We try our best, at times we don't, but we'll always be there. We'll always fight for it. We'll always do that, right? So let me tell you something. Please take care of your old wolf when you're a young wolf. I repeat, please take care of your old wolf when you're a young wolf. Let's not be grasshoppers, let's be ants. And that's the only way to survive. Today, we don't have the luxury of family time. We don't have the luxury of all these things until and unless we make it. Until and unless we make it, at least max out from 3 tracking centers. That is a benchmark which our uplines have given. Only then you can think of anything else. If not, we will be succumb to pressure. There's, for coronavirus, the entire family has to spend close to 40 lakhs for 4 people. 40 lakhs for 4 people. The deposit is 6 lakhs. How many of them have that kind of cash with them today? It's a very pathetic situation. Jobs are being gone. 18,000 people were taken out of cognizance. 18,000 people who thought jobs were safe. Jobs who said they're not safe, in my opinion. You know why? The riskiest thing a person can ever do in his life. I want you guys to ask a question for yourself. The riskiest thing a person can ever do in his life is to drive a two-wheeler. You know how many people die because of two-wheeler accidents every single hour? In 30 seconds, the entire game changes. 30 seconds is enough to change the entire game. And people are taking such a big risk. And they're okay with it. In my opinion, the second biggest risk a person can ever do in his life is to do a job. Why? Because he's spending the most important period of his life from 20 years to 35 years. That is the critical period of any human's life. That is when the body and the brain are at their prime. They're spending that kind of time in working for someone. And something like this happens, they fire people. Which in 15 years of experience, where did it go? Why did we even do that? As we counsel, Amit Suni Bhai says, doing a job is like babysitting someone else's baby. Doing a job is like babysitting someone else's baby. You got to build something which is yours. Because it doesn't matter how much you love the baby is not going to be yours. It's someone else's. It will not come for our rescue when we need it. That is the reason why it's important that we share this opportunity to people. We've got to save as many people as possible. This is the only industry on this planet which can absorb over 1 billion people. 1 billion people. And my heart and my soul is so proud about it. You know why we are proud about this industry? This industry is the first ever industry which made the first ever self-made women millionaire, C.J. Walker, in the year 1957. The first ever self-made women millionaire. Sorry for the year. And this industry is the only industry on the planet which has generated more number of millionaires than any other business on this planet. I take so much pride in it. And today, when most of us prospect, that when you're taking a call, right, to give an info or to speak about our business, your hands will shake, your body will shake, your entire body vibrates. Oh my God, do we have to call them? Why is that? Why is that? Because there's a very powerful saying in Hindi. Sorry, I do not want to repeat it in Hindi. I do not want to make the life of the translators very difficult. I mean, I don't mean that others have made it, but I'm just telling you. It says, the greatest disease in life is the thinking of what will other people think about you. All right? A lot of you think many of the people in the marketplace have rejected network marketing. A lot of people reject network marketing. They don't accept network marketing. Let me tell you something. The major entities on this planet today, are the most rejected entities on the planet. What do we mean by that? If you take a look at Facebook, out of 7.8 billion people on this planet, there are only 2 billion people on Facebook. Which means 5.8 billion people rejected Facebook. For whatever reason it may be. It may be because of lack of internet connection. They are poor, they couldn't afford Facebook. It's their problem. It's not our problem. Majority of people rejected Facebook. Apple, there are only 1 billion people out of 7.8 billion people who are using Apple. Which means 6.8 billion people rejected Apple. Is Apple feeling bad about it? Doesn't matter. Rolex. 95% of the world rejected Rolex. Does it mean that Rolex is not profitable? Right? The number of people who reject a business doesn't define the success of a business. The amount of profit that business is making will define the profit of the business and the success of the business. But that matter, even if you take a look at religion today, majority of the population rejects Hinduism, majority of the population rejects Islamism, majority of the population rejects, they do not opt for these religions. That is how the world is. That's a reality of life. Right? So please don't look for anyone's acceptance. Do you know what percentage of India saw Bahubali? In a population of 130 crores, the revenue that Bahubali made was just 2,000 crores. Right? 2,000 divided by 130 crores. right? If 130 crores, even if they spend 10 rupees on it, which is 1,300 crores, they spend 20 rupees on it, it is 2,600 crores, which means the entire India didn't even spend 20 rupees on that movie, which means maximum of India also rejected Bahubali. So please do not look for everyone's acceptance. It's okay. They cannot understand it. That's perfectly fine. As Robert Kiyosaki says, this business can only be understood by billionaires. Are all of our friends billionaires? They aren't. Are all of them biggies? They aren't. Then why should you even worry about it? Right? So it all comes with one thing. Why we are afraid of people, or why people are not happy to share the news, is because they are afraid, because they have a very low self-image about themselves. Why? Because our culture has brought up like that. Think of, we need some assistance to prove our self-image. For example, if you talk about one person, he is my friend, he works with so-and-so. The next statement is works with so-and-so. Oh, he works with McKinsey, amazing. Oh, he works with this company. Oh, okay. He works with, so you need a validation of a corporate to back you up. I don't understand. Why do we have to have a backup of a corporate to say what is our self-worth? I don't need any backup. I am what I am. I know how critical thinking I am. It's a self-belief about ourselves. I don't need a company to validate my talent. I don't need a company to validate how good I am. I don't need a company to validate how fast I'll grow in life. I don't need a company to validate my recognition in the society. I validate my own self. Because when people sign up for my business, they're not signing up for Qnet, they're signing up for me. This is my business. I am the brand. That is how I have the self-image. Right? Forget about this business. Any business, you got to take rejections. One of my friend who is an entrepreneur, who's struggling for 5 years. He has a business idea. He reached more than 300 investors. Not one invested in him. Not one. How many of us have that mental capacity to go out and do something about it? And if you take a look at Elon Musk, in an interview, he said, it is very easy to get investors on board. Everyone was like, please tell me, what is the easy technique? You know what Elon Musk said? You got to just make 1,000 phone calls. Just make 1,000 phone calls and you're done. And a lot of people say, never lose hope. We will always be millionaires. Take a look at Kentucky Fried Chicken guy. He became a successful millionaire at the age of 64. Let me tell you a short story about him. He started business at the age of 14. He failed in so many businesses. Right? And he took 109 rejections to get his first Kentucky Fried Chicken franchisee. After getting that, he sold it off to someone. Kentucky Fried Chicken is not even his own now. It is owned by John Y. Brown. Right? So the old man that you see, it is not even his business today. The issue with most of the people is they only look at the top surface of the information. They don't dwell deep into it. Right? So rejections are a part and parcel of any business. You had to be ready for it. Ranveer Singh gave so many interviews, so many auditions before he got it. And I believe that every rejection is a process of improving ourselves. It's a process of improving ourselves. Do you think a bowler, he bowls every ball, he gets a wicket? No. Who is an exceptional bowler? An exceptional bowler is someone who has his line and length consistency. He's an exceptional bowler. He'll wickets over a period of time. Similarly, in our business, an exceptional network is someone who gets his basics right. All the freaking time, he gets his basics right. Sign-ups will automatically happen, business will automatically grow with the guidance of the uplines. Right? And today, why I feel so proud, so excited to share my business with people is because which business allows other people to enter in, irrespective of their caste, creed, country, class, which business on this planet? If you want to get into any other sector, you need an association with someone. And this is the only business where a North Indian and a South Indian work together, where an East Indian and West Indian work together, where an Indian and a Pakistani work together, keeping their barriers aside. Which business do we have an opportunity like this? For a normal guy like me to get into business, I have been in a startup. I know the struggle that the industry goes through. I know what all we had to go through. I know how many people that we had to reach out to. I know the kind of suspense, the kind of disbelief that people have towards you. I know the kind of look down the family looks at you, because I could have gone to US. But I'm staying here because I see a bigger vision. I was completely sold out when I saw the video of V partner Dev Wadhwani. Fan. The reason why I survived in this business was him. The reason I started was him. I love him to the core. Huge fan. Right? He was the reason why I have been in the business. I'm growing. I look at him. I want to be like him. Right? So I wanted to become. I was mad about him. That's what gave me that strength. Right? So a lot of people say, you got to be a rebel. A lot of people put their posters on Facebook. Be a rebel. Be this. Be that. Be a revolutionary. This is a time to be a revolutionary. Are you ready for it? This is a time to be a revolutionary. Are you ready for it? The world needs heroes. We are one of them. Are you ready for it? No business on this planet takes care of your manufacturing, takes care of your finance, takes care of your logistics, the most painful part of any business. I have been in a startup, so I know how painful logistics is. HR, employees, go down management, it's all taken care by the company. It's taken care by QNet. As Tony Robbins says, 95% of the people on this planet fail in businesses, not because there are lack of opportunities out there. There are so many opportunities out there, but we don't have the psychology of utilizing those opportunities, building on those opportunities, and scaling those opportunities to the next level. It has nothing to do with intelligence. It has nothing to do with hard work. It has to do with transformation of the mindset. It's not the lack of opportunities we are here. It is a lack of the psychology and the mentality and that level of business acumen that we lack. Why are we here? That's why we're here. Most of the people fail in the business because of that. But our business is such a beautiful business that it provides everything. Provides every freaking thing. Right? In a traditional business, you have to take care of finance, you have to take care of marketing, you have to take care of sales, you have to take care of manufacturing, you have to take care of HR, you have to take care of employee, you have to take care of vision, you have to take care of politicians, you have to take care of all this, you have to take all this. A normal person like me wouldn't have even, I've been in a startup, so I know how difficult it is. When I walked into a startup, I started off with a lot of panache, and I am an entrepreneur now. Once I went there, I understood. After when they understood that, okay, relax, Dikshit. It is way too much for us. I wanted something just more certain. I was not courageous at that point in time. This business has made me courageous. This business has made me courageous. And that is the reason, right? Where do we get all these opportunities? Where do we get the support system? The leadership, our uplines are incredible, man. They're freaking incredible. A lot of respect for them. Respect to the core. You know why? The true test of leadership is not during the good times, but it is during the bad times. And look at the way our uplines have responded. Grooming school is the masterstroke. It's like out of the world. On a Zoom, taking care of so many people. It is a masterstroke. And I would like to always follow leaders like them, who are futuristic, who are borderless. Just imagine the way we have been growing. If it was some other traditional business, right, we would have closed the door and would have been there. Legends, man. Legends. Respect. I don't think I am even eligible enough to give my respect to them. Now they are planning for something. There's, just imagine the kind of leadership that we are part of. They do their personal activities. They take care of the team. They conduct camps. They plan for the events. They do counseling. They plan for the camps in this environment. They read books. They watch these things. They share stories. They create out. There's, the highest talent of an upline, in my opinion, after all these things, is to create new words. Just imagine what kind of mindset you should have under all these circumstances to create new words, new sentences, new jokes. That's called as the level of freedom that they have in their mind. The level of how do they have been doing, the level of organizing things. I would love to learn all these things from them. I would like to follow them forever in my life. They always push for next. They always push for next. Where can I get this kind of support system? Even if I become successful in a business outside, if I have made my first million, I'll be full. My business will stagnate. There's so many people who were one-hit wonders. And they're gone. I do not want to be them. I want to be in association with these people. I cannot walk this journey alone. I need their support. I need their time. Right? When you have systems in place, when you have products and services taken care of, when you have your downlines taken care of, when you have education taken care of, when you have so many things that are taken care of, what is stopping me from being proud of this industry? What is making me proud of this industry? I'm so freaking proud of every second, every bit, the kind of support system that it has. It gives me the self-image, the kind of effort that my uplines put in. It brings tears to my eyes. Non-negotiable, working to the core, serving to the core, right? I would like to be with these people. I don't care about anything else. I want to be with them. I want to learn from them. I want to be in their wings. And I was an absolute moron at the start of my business. It took me 2-3 shockers to understand the reality. I'm telling you out of this experience. Yes. So that is something that I'd like to talk about. We have to be extremely proud of what we are. People say, this is referring. I call this as not referring. Why do you think schools are given so much respect? Schools are given so much respect because they acquire students and they teach them life skills. That's why teachers are respected. That's why schools are respected. They're taught life skills to go and earn money and make a living. That's why schools are there. And how different is our business from a school? In colleges, at least, they'll teach something that is not even relevant to the present world. But we teach them life skills. If a person becomes successful in this business, he can become successful in any business. There's no other business which is so much supportive to people. It becomes my responsibility. Forget about making profit also. It's my responsibility to get people on board and train them and help them and tell them that it's a stone cold fact that there's a better way to live life. There's a better way to live life. Forget about anything. It is my responsibility to save as many people as I can in this process. That's why I do prospecting. I do prospecting with a state of mind that I am saving his life. Of course, there's hard work. There's hard work in everything. Of course, there's an opportunity. A person has to prove his opportunity, right? In movies, they say, he has given you an opportunity. That's why I'm here. That person has utilized his opportunity. And we are giving people an opportunity with a free hand to support them in every possible way. Irrespective of the country, irrespective of the creed, irrespective of everything else, we are there to help these people. And there's no question about me having a doubt of promoting this business. It's 200% there. All right. That's about prospecting. And I take a lot of pride. I take a lot of intensity, a lot of care and concern for my downlines to stretch myself. My uplines stretch so much for us. I'm inspired by that. The products are exceptional if you understand the products and services. There's nothing on this planet can stop me from doing anything. I don't need some company's image to talk about my self-image to go and prospect. I am the company. I am the custodian of my own business. I take the complete responsibility to go and do it. That's me. Made by my uplines. That's why I show this. There's no other opportunity where people can make money today. Our business is the only opportunity. And in Corona times, we have grown so much. And talking about the next aspect of it, how to prospect. So first, we have to get our intent right. We are doing this business to save people, to create a culture. And let me also tell you, our business may be the first business to go into outer space if there's anything that like that happens. Logically speaking, we don't have to have our infrastructure. We don't have to have our machinery with us. I guess if I'm not wrong, and I don't know whether I'm right or wrong, but we may be the first business which is in the outer space. Intergalactic species. There's a concept which is coming up called as intergalactic net. If you don't know, right? We can grow there also. I see an incredible bright future out there. Incredible bright future. I can do business on Zoom with them. I mean, it's just my thought. And coming to how to prospect. Right, so we're clear about prospecting, why prospecting is important, why I do prospecting, because I want to save people, I want to train people, it's going to be hard work, and that is the evolution of human being. That's the purpose of human life. And now let's talk about how to prospect, right? So there's a methodology of prospecting. First, I'm sure most of you have written down your name list, right? As our uplines say, divide the name list into hot, warm, and cold categories, right? And for hot people, please do not show them the presentation. Please do not prospect or do anything. Just ask them, bro, sister, brother, anyone. I'm doing this business. I want you to be a part of it. Just think that you blew away money on me, but I see a bright future in it. And I cannot imagine me being alone, successful in life. I want you to be with me. I want you to get all the benefits. Right? A lot of people say, I'm interested in food. I want to open a food restaurant. Please understand this. If you're just passionate about something, that is not enough. We have to understand the geopolitical circumstances. We have to understand the socio-economic situations of the world before we launch a business. We have to get an overview about where the world is heading to, how things are moving on. We cannot just jump into business because we like it. Just look at the restaurants today in Bangalore. 40% of restaurants have put their restaurants for sale. Just because you like something, it doesn't mean that we have to go and do it. Please understand, you have to understand the geopolitical, socio-economic situations of the world and then take a step. That's why they're called as visionaries. Yeah. So when you're talking about HOTS, it becomes imperative that we give them this opportunity for a lifetime. At the max, what will happen? They'll get a product, they'll be happy with it. But if they don't, look at the opportunity cost. $1 million a year opportunity cost. Huge. I signed up my younger brother and I signed up my cousin there. Okay, they have so many people under them, crores of business under them. Crores of business under them. They don't have to work hard. Of course, they have to work hard, but their growth will be faster than what my growth was. The power of position is very important. I'm telling you because I lost a very crucial power of position when my upline reached out to me. I did not accept. In that, so many people started off. There are so many rock stars who came. But excuse me for a second. Yeah, I got another signal. I'm sorry. I'll be a little slow. So many rock stars who came. Please do not miss out on that. Please do not miss out on those initial positions because you will be regretting a lot. Trust me on that. You will be regretting a lot. So please don't be logical with your thoughts. Please don't be logical with them. Share your heart of why you want them to be in the business. They will feel your heart. They'll feel your heart. I did not just sign up my brother and my cousin. I called up my best friend and I said, bro, I need money. He said, how much? This much. He sent that money to my account without asking a single question. Then I had tears in my eyes. The people trust me so much that on a single phone call, someone paid me so much. I had tears in my eyes. I became even more responsible in life. I became so responsible in life. I don't take anything for granted. You know, when people believe in you so much, it's something. And I called another friend of mine. He's also in this business today. I called him and I said, bro, I need this money. He said, how much? This much. Then he said, I don't have it. I said, take loan. Okay, took a loan. Started transfer the amount. You know what they said? Dikshit, I don't know about the business, but we want to work with you. Because you know the kind of person you are. We want to work with you. That's how it started, man. When people bestow so much of love and affection and trust on you, right? It's going to be incredible. You will become incredibly responsible. And of course, there are so many people who said no also. But that didn't stop me. Right? So that's about HOTS. And now let's look at WARMS, right? And for WARMS, I have applied, and whatever I'm going to share right now, please consult your uplines before you apply them. It has worked for me, but it is always important that you take a validation from your working and growing upline, right? So please follow that protocol. I'm talking about WARMS. Now, after you sign up your HOTS, after I signed up my HOTS, the first thing which I did is I went to my social media and my plan said, you got to change your social media profile because today's social media is your resume. Your social media profile is your resume today. That's how the world has changed. Right? So once you set up a social media profile, which is very attractive in the sense that please, I've seen so many people, first of all, doing business hanky-panky because one, they do not have an understanding about this industry. They do not have an understanding about what's happening in the world. They do not have an understanding about their own self. Why are they doing this business? They don't have an understanding about things, what will happen in the future, right? So knowledge is a very important aspect. As Diggy Bhai says, ask. First, I spoke about attitude. Second, I spoke about skill set. Third is knowledge. You must always have the knowledge to safeguard you. And I think all the knowledge is there in the books. And talking to WARMS, coming back to that aspect of it, right? So please don't feel hanky-panky. Please don't feel low in confidence. We all are there. Let's rock it together. We are there as a support system for you. Right? If Elon Musk would have stopped for the 100th phone call when he did not get an investor, I don't think he would have been Elon Musk today. And as networkers, we don multiple hats. We are the people who pitch in the business. We are the people who guide people. We are the people who are leaders. And we are the people who conduct event management. Right? We are the people who train people. We are the people who counsel people. We are the people who are keynote speakers. We are the people who are public speakers. We are the people who design strategy. We are the people who go and expand the world around, right? So we are a different species. We do everything from calling to signing the deals. Right? A networker has so many roles and responsibilities, which an employee cannot have. That's what I believe in. It has improved my speaking skill. It has improved my thought process. It has improved my understanding of people. It has improved my people management skills. It has improved so many things in my life. And that's what I would want you guys to learn from this business to the core. Let's not be hanky-panky. Let's not, when you're call with pride that you are an entrepreneur of the 21st century. We see the future which the world doesn't see. And when you're talking to moms, that kind of confidence should spike up in you. Right? When you look confident, when you're confident about things, the energy that you have will completely change. So when I got started, I changed my entire social media profile. At that point in time, I did not have an Apple iPhone. I did not have even Samsung. I was running on HTC. My profile pictures were really good. So I got in touch with my Apple and I got some really nice, cool pics clicked. And I made my social media very beautiful. All right. So when I'm talking about social media, first and foremost, please remove all the forwards. Please eliminate them. Your social media profile should be like a breath of fresh air for people. Right? My social media profile, I only post positive 90 to 95% of the time. One or the other time, once in blue moon, I post something which is very intriguing for people. If social media profile will define your charm in people. Right? So let's focus on social media. First of all, do not post too much on social media. Post twice in a week. That is more than enough. That's what I do. You have to be in people's mind, but you shouldn't be in their head to the core irritating them. Right? 2 times in a week. And I don't write very, very big texts. I don't put YOLO, you only live once. Right? I have to make sure that people are inspired by my photograph rather than what I write. And at times, what you write will de-edify the photograph. Right? At times, picture speaks volumes. Picture is enough to speak a lot of things. And once in a while, a cute little one-liner which exactly matches your profile pic is extremely critical. Right? No forwards, no desi forwards. I see people forwarding some old songs, sharing your old pictures, sharing your old things. If there's an intent, when I share my old pics, I share only selected pics because people should understand how much I have grown in this business, what I used to be, what I am. That's very important once in a while, but most of the times only good check-ins, good photographs. You have to maintain yourself very tidily, right? For example, if you go for a job, when you're going for a job, in a job interview, how would you prepare yourself? You'll wear a nice coat, you'll smell good, you'll look good, you look awesome, and the way you speak is different, right? Similarly, a Facebook profile should look amazing, not just Facebook, even Insta. And it is very distractive. So what I do is, once I post it, I uninstall the app. Again, after 3 days, I reinstall the apps and I post it again. So that it's not a distraction for our mind. And in Instagram, there's an option called as set your daily limit for the amount of time that you spend on social media. You can set that thing. That will save a lot of time for you. Because what happens is once you're on Facebook, you think you're prospecting. You go and click a link. Oh, I learned how to prospect from there. And then it lead to another link. And then it lead to another link. And then it lead to another link. By the time you look, 2 hours is wasted. So that helps you avoid time waste. Your agenda is to create your charisma on social media. Create it, move out. After 3 days, go back again. Create another charisma, go out. And I usually only follow my uplines and the prospects who are coming on a daily basis. Which means every once in a month, I add 50 to 60 new friends who also follow me. I touch 100 people, but out of them, 60 only follow back. And I only keep them, and I keep eliminating the people who don't follow me back. And if you see my number of followers on Instagram, it will be very, very less. I don't follow thousands and thousands of people. It's a waste of time. And their mindset is very irritating at this point in time. Right? So please maintain discipline on social media. It is very, very critical. And let me also tell you, if possible, buy an Apple iPhone. Right? I know most of you guys don't like Apple, or you may like Apple or whatever it is, but Apple is a brand. Apple is a brand. If you want like some other phone, use that phone for your work purpose. But if possible, have an Apple iPhone. Because when you use an Apple, right, your brand image among your friends will reach to the next level. Yep. So social media plays a very, very important role here. Especially in the current world where you're on Zoom, your social media profile speaks volumes about it. Right? And that will even shock the people in your office also. That is something. And when you're talking to moms, you have to give them an info. Just info that you're doing this business. That is good enough. And if possible, every now and then, tell a story. Right? So storytelling is a very important skill in the present world. Right? I would like to share a small video, a small PPT about storytelling. Okay, so this is something that has shifted my mind to the core. You see this, right? And from 1800 to 1990, if you see x-axis, it is a value that is in terms of money. And if you see, if you take y-axis, it is dollars in terms of value. But on x-axis, if you see, it is in terms of time. From 1800 to 1900, a lot of money was there in production and inventions. A lot of money was there in production and invention. Why? Because at that point in time, only few people could afford the machinery. Only few people could afford the workforce. And they would charge whatever they wish for. And they had large margins. And if you take a look at inventions, every invention was scaled up. And people were making a lot of money also. The inventions and production was in a growing trend at that point in time. And that's the reason, even that trend is in a lot of people's mind even till today. If you ask a person, if you ask a regular prospect, what do you want to do? What business you want to own? He'll say, I want to own a manufacturing unit. I want to own a production unit. I want to create my own product. I want to create my own product. Right? That is the state of mind. Even people are there, which is again 1800 to 1990. But that is not the reality. The reality today is completely different. If you look at the graph, right, from 1991 till the future for the next 50, 60, 70, 80 years, from what I see, it maybe even more, right, there's not much of money in invention. Because whatever you invent, within 5-6 days, someone else copies it. For example, today, Jio copied Zoom, Jio copied WhatsApp. Now, where is the speciality about your invention? Whatever you do, there will be someone will copy it. And that's the reason there is, it's the more exquisite invention that you have, the more money you make, or else it will go down. The possibility of money making is almost reduced in invention. And if you talk about production, my dear friends, today everyone can produce. And US is so forward thinking that some of the entrepreneurs in US, not the entire US, they shifted their entire production to other country. For example, Apple shifted their entire production to China because they understand there's not much of margin in production, right? People fight right now in the marketplace for production because automation and artificial intelligence have actually enhanced the production values, and because of which everyone can produce, because of which the margins are very, very less. And that's why there's not much money in production. Automation and artificial intelligence will take up. I think they'll be fully automated in the decades to come. But on the right-hand side, a lot of growth, a lot of money today is to be made on storytelling. You can make more money when you create more impact. You can make more money when you create more impact. And storytelling is the greatest impact. If you look at the world around, some of the biggest companies that are growing today are storytellers. Facebook provides us an opportunity for you and me to share our story. Instagram, story. Snapchat, story. TikTok, story. Of course, TikTok is banned today. Story. And Uber tells a story. Right? And none of these companies own anything, which is a manufacturing unit. They only provide a platform for people to share their stories. Today, the world's biggest social media house does not produce any content. Facebook. The world's biggest property services provider does not own any properties. Airbnb, it's gone today. 12 years of their work last only for 6 weeks. But just imagine what kind of futuristic company we are. Just look at it. In the most difficult times, you're growing. We have crossed borders. We have increased the activity. It's incredible. That is the leadership. That's the power of network marketing. If you go and read FICCI and KPMG report, you'll actually be blown away by the facts and figures of this industry. And only because of that, I have people from IITs, people from IIMs, people from ISBs working with me on a daily basis, right? People from different walks of life, people from the US, people from Australia, they are finding more sense. As Tony Robbins says, that network marketing is a growing industry, and more good profiles will be a part of this organization or this industry soon, because this is one of the only ways out. Right? Storytelling plays such an incredible role. Right? The world's biggest taxi services provider does not produce any taxis. Uber. The world's biggest retail store does not have an inventory. Amazon. Right? So guys, we have to understand that network marketing is such a beautiful platform. It gives you the skill, it gives you the content. You don't have to create any new content. Our syllabus is limited. It's all about repeating it over and over again. You may say, Dikshit, there's nothing new to learn. Same old story, same old things. Let me tell you, Rahul Dravid practices 300 balls every day. 300 balls every day. Rahul Dravid. Is it doing the same thing over and over again? Yes, it is. Right? Vishwanathan Anand practices the same moves over and over again. because that is called as mastering. Bruce Lee once said, he's not afraid of someone who practices 10,000 different kicks every day. I repeat, Bruce Lee is not afraid of someone who practices 10,000 different kicks every day. Bruce Lee is afraid of someone who practices 10,000 kicks. No, one kick 10,000 times every day. One kick freaking 10,000 times every day. My dear friends, it's not about knowledge. It's not about intelligence. It's about execution. How much can you execute? How much can you do? This business is about e-compounding and leverage. The more, the thing of network marketing is large number of people doing the same activity over long periods of time. That's the secret. Right? A lot of people say, this is just referring people. Right? Referring is like a battle, my dear friends. It's like a game of chess. That guy has a belief system. You have a belief system. If your belief system wins over that guy's belief system, if that guy's open enough, then he'll start with you. Right? A lot of people, then I will also say what network marketing is referring people. No, it's not. You educate, you make them understand, you make them leaders. It's a grooming school in itself for next generation leadership. If you ask me that cricket is, what's the big deal about cricket? It's only a bat and ball game, right? Why is there so much hype to it? If you take a look at football, it's only kicking the ball, right? What's the big deal about it? The big deal is not about the activity. The big deal is about the mind behind that activity. That's what I realized. The big deal is about the mind behind that activity. All right. So storytelling, how many times do you say the stories that can impact people to take a decision? People take decisions based on stories. Stories, and network marketing. And our company particularly storyizes the business. And kudos to AVP Digiba that he took so much time. An entire session was completely on storytelling. That shows the importance of storytelling today. If you want to make a lot of money, you got to be good with storytelling. And it's easy. You don't have to worry about these things. And if you take a look at any social media influencer storytelling, Kylie Jenner, the youngest billionaire on this planet, what does she do? She shares a story about her lifestyle. She shares a story about her thing. And she gets paid $1.1 million for one post of her story. That's the value of story. Today, the biggest of the biggest billionaires will be from storytelling. And why is Apple so famous? Steve Jobs was storytelling. And a lot of people say, you don't have to tell any story about the product. If the product is excellently good about itself, it will only grow on itself. Right? If people say, the stories are really good, you don't need a story for a product. A product will speak for itself. Let me tell you, that may have worked in the past, but not today. A classic example is HTC Mobile. I loved HTC Mobile at that point, and before I started this business, I was a huge fan of HTC Mobile. It was better than Samsung and NASA Massive was better than Apple iPhone. But the only mistake that HTC didn't do is they thought product will sell for itself. And the title was also, their caption was also quietly brilliant. I repeat, the caption was quietly brilliant. And they never focused on marketing. They said product will take care of itself. And then today, they're brilliantly quiet. Today, they're brilliantly quiet. You don't find them in the marketplace. Why? Because they forgot to tell stories. And the more effective storyteller you become, the more successful you become. It's very simple. Get 10 stories, practice them hundreds of times so that you go and speak to your people and there's a lot of conviction to it. Right? So that's the importance of storytelling in the present world. Right? So that is the most important aspect of storytelling. So I would like to share a couple of stories, right, which have created. So there are a couple of stories which I would like to share, which have created an impact on so many of my prospects. They got started, right? So there are 3 stories: Monkey Peanut story, and Shambhu Shikhari story, and then you have this bucket carrying story, and one sage on the island story, right? So today, in the best interest of time, I may not be able to share all the stories, but I'll share one story, which is called as the Shambhu Shikhari story, which is very apt to the present situation in the world today. All right, I'd like to share it. So translators, can I go ahead with the story? All right, great. So I'd like to tone this pace a little. It's a long time ago. This is how I tell my story with my friends when I go, hey, hi, how are you doing? What's up? And then regular discussions and stuff. And then say, bro, I met my friend recently, a very good guy, and who's like a mentor, who's like a guide figure to me. I take his suggestion stuff. He recently shared a beautiful story. Can I share it with you? And that guy says, of course. Yeah. Right. So I said, long time ago, there was a thick green forest. It was so thick that even the sun rays wouldn't touch the floor of the forest. Thick green forest. It was so thick. It had a plethora of flora and fauna. You don't have to use complicated English. I use it. It had a variety of plethora and fauna. Plethora and flora and fauna. A lot of animals, a lot of species. The more simple you make it, the more better it is, because I deal with prospects who are very intelligent, so I have to use this language, but you don't have to do it. Keep it as simple as possible, right? So, and it was a very, very dark and fierce forest. And near to the forest, there was a village. And in that village, there was a very, very talented hunter. His name was Shambhu Shikhari. And Shambhu Shikhari was a tall, strong, well-built man. He is equal to a Greek god. And his skill of hunting was of zenith. He was very confident, very skillful, very agile, very, very flexible, very hardworking, but also a little overconfident. One day, as a regular routine, he walks into the forest with his chest up, chin up, right, ready to conquer the forest. And while he's in the forest, he encounters a lion, which is 500 meters away from him. He stylishly swings his gun, he loads it and he shoots it. He misses it. He'll say, oh wow, what a challenging lion. He loads it again and shoots it. He misses it. And now the lion is furious. That is not a normal lion. That is a freaking African lion. So strong that with one strike of its paw, it can uproot a tree. And that lion is ferocious. As they say, right? Never fight a lion which is ferocious, which is angry. And that lion starts chasing down. This guy's confidence, this guy's intensity, this guy's focus is lost. He becomes paralyzed when such a beast is running towards him. Somehow he gathers strength. Shivers will be running through his spine. He'll keep panting and sweating.